Every year over in the US, there's a bike building competition called the Biltwell People's Champ Competition. This is where a panel of bike building experts will hand-pick 6 of their favourite custom motorcycle builders. This is an extremely difficult shortlist to be involved in. The final shortlist is just 6. From those 6 this year in 2024, 4 of the bike builders picked are from the USA, 1 is from New Zealand, and 1 is from right here in Copdock, England. These 6 bike builders will be put up to the public to decide who wins the Biltwell People's Champ Competition 2024. Welcome to Lobo Cycles in Copdock. Joe, pleasure to meet you. What does a half-Dutch gentleman with a passion for custom bike building, how do you end up in Copdock, Suffolk, in the countryside?
Well, it's a beautiful place, isn't it? Yeah.
Tell me about it.
That's simple.
Tell me about everything we've got here, because the camera will only pick up to about the railing up there. You're in for a colossal treat, because behind every door and every hedge and every corner in Suffolk there is a treat, and I have got one of the biggest treats to show you in a second. Joe, give us an overview. Tell us what we're looking at here.
We are a by appointment only full service motorcycle shop, specialized in Harley Davidsons and choppers. So we do everything from spark plugs to ground up builds where we built the frame, we built the engines, we do it all, and everything in between.
How does one go about starting this? Do you start just by yourself? You're a passionate builder, you think, oh, there's a business here, or do you start immediately thinking, right, I'm building what I hope to be a market-leading bike customization company with a very set idea in mind of, for example, high-end customs?
No, it started with buying a crappy bike when I was younger that didn't work, and then having to work on it to keep it on the road, and then customizing it, and then friends liked it, and then at some point you start doing it for people you don't know, and you get paid for it, and then it kind of expands.
So everything, what we're going to see inside, everything from servicing bikes to some of the highest end custom request, custom builds that a customer could ever dream up. Right, Joe, I'll grab the camera. We'll start over in this little black shed. So Joe, a customer will come to you and say, I'm interested in a custom Harley build. Where do you start?
It depends. If he wants a full ground up build where we built the frame ourselves, then we start with a pile of tubes and a jig to build the frame out of. And otherwise we start with a donor bike. So either we have the donor bike, we've got a few that I can show you, or the customer brings in a donor bike and then we chop it. It's that simple.
In here, you have, I'm assuming, hand-picked some of the donor bikes from the USA.
Correct. So a friend of mine in the US goes out, scouts them, makes sure that the bones of the bikes are good so that we don't get lemons shipped over, and then we ship them over by the container load. And then we chop them up and turn them into proper bikes. But we start off with crappy bikes.
I lost my breath for about 10 seconds. I'll let Joe go in a second, but in case it's a bit tight, have a look at this! Joe, just walk us through how you go about building this collection and deciding upon these as donor bikes for potential future customers.
Yeah, so we have a few, but these won't be here in about a year from now. They'll all be chopped and running the roads. So what we do is we go for we go for shovel heads or we go for Evos, and they have different moments in time when they were built.
And just tell us briefly the years, from what year to what year.
So a shovel is up to 84, and then from 84 until 99 is the Evo or Evolution engine. And we use Softails, which are kind of the go-to bike as a platform to chop.
What is it about the Evos that's so good for customization?
They're extremely reliable, they're easy to work on, not a lot of electronics on them. You can perk up the engine, so they're quite spicy. Yeah, they allow you to do a lot to them.
So in essence, a customer will come to you and you've got these bikes here to
Yeah.
save messing around with time trying to ship one over from the USA, everything.
So we're good to go.
In
We can
theory.
we can
Okay,
pull one out,
perfect.
and this is how they look before they get chopped, and I'll show you inside what they look when we're done with them.
Just walking through, Joe, this, very quickly, the red one, what is it?
Yeah, that's a good question. We got that in a barn find with another bike. We went for the other bike, which was a panhead, and this was in the corner of the shed. It's supposedly, and we'll ask George, a British brand, and it got parked there 3 years ago and it never moved. It's my personal bike, says Copdock on the front, so that is a street bob, twin cam with a beefed up engine. Upgraded suspension in the back and the rear. Yeah, that thing will haul ass.
So you, personally, you haven't gone with an Evo, for example, as your personal
Oh,
bike?
no. I've got more than one bike.
Okay.
Yeah. And this is, we didn't build this one. This is a Lobo Cycles. This is built by Russell Mitchell, which is, he's a great guy. He's actually a Brit. He now lives in California, used to be a veterinarian. Then went to California, became a model, and then started building bikes. And he's one of the few guys that survived the chopper crash in '08. And he built this bike. He's a great guy. We do some work with him. And
It's the cleanliness for me, the cleanliness of the design.
yeah, that's what he's known for.
How this is, of course, the headquarters of Lobo Cycles. Your house is just over there to my left-hand side.
Yeah.
How do you go about starting? Let me just give you an idea of scale of this place. And of course, I'm going to take you upstairs as well. Bikes upstairs, chill out area, workshop down here. Do you start from a wooden shed and then think, you know what, I've actually got a few projects here. I'm going to get a bit bigger and then, oh, I've got a bit more to do.
No, this was purpose built. So after having built bikes for a while, I knew what I wanted in my ultimate kind of shop. So this is purpose built. So we thought about everything that we wanted in the shop before we built it. So we made all our mistakes on paper, not on the...
This is not built as just purely a passion project. This is very much with company in mind.
Correct.
For what we're about to see.
Correct. So this is the first part of the shop. Hey, George.
George.
Say hello.
Hello.
Yeah.
Great to see an expert at work.
George, that red bike on the tree, what is the brand of that again?
Which one?
The red one, the small one.
Oh, it's a James.
Yeah, that's British brand, right?
Yeah, British brand.
Yeah.
125, I think. 125. James.
Yeah.
Yeah.
True classic.
It's brilliant. It's brilliant.
Yeah, so come in.
So what's George working on here?
This is a full custom build for a local customer who, he's quite a big bloke. So we needed a frame that was big, so it's stretched and it's up. With a big S&S engine in there and a lot of details. Hey Doug. A lot of details. If you come a little closer you can see. So the gas tank is engraved aluminum.
So who did this?
Yeah, a guy on Bali, a friend of ours, does that. He also did the heads.
Detailing.
Yeah.
How standard was this bike? Is this a full build that you've done for a customer?
This is a full build, and this customer really wanted to push the boat out, which we did, because there is a lot of trick bits on here. It's a hardtail, so there is no suspension in the frame, but we have airbags underneath the seat, so you can push a button and these come out, and then you have a nice bouncy ride, and then when you end up at the pub, you can lower it and you get the clean look of the bike. This was
everything here you do, everything we're looking at.
well, the paint we didn't do,
Yep.
we sent out, and
Yep.
the leather was done by a Japanese friend of ours, Yun Takakuda. So we have a couple of things that we don't do, but we have a very good network nearby here in Suffolk of craftsmen that help us. But yeah, the exhaust was done in-house, the forward controls, the pegs, all of that stuff we do ourselves.
Machined here,
Yep.
literally about 2 meters away in that direction. And with the El Lobo logo, which is the wolf there. This, of course, has your logo on it. I can see there,
Yep.
El Lobo.
Yep.
How do you pick a bike that you allow to have your logo on it? If someone, for example, comes in, wants a stage 1 tune-up, for example, you won't put your badge on that.
No, it has to be a full custom build. So that needs to be either a bike that we really radically modify, or it needs to be a full build like this one or like one of the other ones. That's standard, that's a customer's bike that George has just finished. So these two tables here, normally we don't do our custom work on this table. These two tables that are now sunk into the ground, but they come up, are used to rotate customer bikes over. We're very dependent on supply chain of parts, so you may be working on one, you run out of parts, you need to order them, then you can jump on the other bike. So we can jump between both bikes on this.
And it means that, yes, you work on custom bikes, you'll do big builds, but you'll do stuff more simple, servicing.
We do spark plugs, MOTs. George is an MOT inspector, so he can do MOTs at a local station. We do the very simple stuff, tire changes, all of that, all the way up to full builds.
One behind you, I've been looking, Joe, online to get an idea about how it works with you.
Yeah.
This bike is for sale.
This one's for sale,
In fact, I'm sure a lot are for sale, but specifically
Yeah.
this one caught my eye.
Yeah.
Because from your point of view, this is more on the affordable end of your build spectrum. Is
Correct.
that fair to say?
Correct. This is one of those soft tails that you saw in the container over there. Ends up looking like
Oh,
this.
that's fascinating.
So this one is completely blacked out, as you can see. We wanted to give that a try. So little wolf in the gas tank.
Do you build a bike that you like and then try and sell it? Or do you only do it under a customer's commission once they say, right, Joe, we want this?
No, we kind of built them the way we like them and tried to get customers interested rather than... The exception is that bike. That bike, the customer had a really clear idea and we like this particular customer, so we went all off on what he wanted. But that's rare for us. Normally we build a bike 80% the way we want to see the bike to be, and then the customer has some input. We want to make sure the bike rides well and has the qualities that we want to put our name to. So. And it has nothing to do with arrogance, we just want the customer to be happy with the end product. And that seems to work. So this bike, for instance, is the same as that one from a platform standpoint. So again, one out of the container, but you can see it looks different from that one. You can see they share DNA, but it has a different look to it. So you can do a lot with picking different pieces to chrome or to black out. And then we have some things that we kind of put on there, like the wolf head on the headlight, just to kind of give it our spin. And then we have the shovels, that we've got a couple over there, I'll show you. So those are the two that kind of define our look. Evos are a little user-friendlier, but the shovels have more historic pedigree. So a lot of people like to go for the old stuff, the shovels. It's really personal taste. That, by the way, it's a bit messy, but that's the jig upside down that we build our frames on.
Because you'll get sheets of metal.
Tubes. Yeah, we get tubes
and
and then we get castings and we weld it. So this thing, it's a shame it's not out. We could have given you a better picture, but that one flips upside down and then you build the frame on there.
So what are we looking at here with these two?
These two frames are just standard shovel frames. So these were donor bikes that we stripped. And these are waiting for customers to, this customer wants a full restoration. So this bike is actually going to look like it did when it came out of the factory. That bike, that's a different customer, and that one we're going to chop to make it look like our house style of shovel head. These two are shovels.
Very different look of build to the Evos. It's incredible how different the end product is when you compare them side by side.
Correct. So what we do is we take a standard shovel frame. We've chopped a piece off the frame and put a different casting in there to get this line to come down a little bit more. Then the swing arm is modified to have the bike sit a bit lower, so that gives it a, we believe, better stance to look at. Engine is completely stripped. All the internals are new and refurbished. A lot of work.
Well, the quality of the work everywhere is just it's exquisite. Look at this.
Yeah. So this gets CNC'd out of aluminum. We also do them in brass. We have another example over there. Those are our velocity stacks, and again our badge. We do some work in here. This is the mill and the lathe. And
it's incredible. You've got
Yeah, it's
almost everything to do it.
Yeah,
from start to finish.
Yeah, the only thing we don't have is a 5-axis CNC, so we have friends down the road that do that for us. This is our kind of our custom table. So bikes that live here a bit longer, because usually we have our ground up builds on here. So again, table can come up. We've got, you know, all our fasteners there. We've got most of the tools there, so we can work on a bike here, leave it alone for a bit.
The nerve center over there, computer, all the boring stuff, I guess.
Yeah, so what we do is, because we, like I said, we have an issue sometimes with aftermarket parts. So what we do is we print 3D. So we make our own prototypes. And then we change them and change them. Yeah, this is plastic. But you can offer this up on the bike, fit it on the bike. And then if you're happy with how it fits, then you send the file over to your CNC friends that we have, and then you get it CNC'd out of brass or aluminum.
Wow, I'm sure the camera will pick that up. The quality and significant weight to that.
Yeah, so we can do that in aluminum and reduce a bit of weight. And then this is another, like this is a headlight shell that we can get engraved. Yeah, so that's our 3D printer. That's where we print. Yeah, it's now a bit messy, but you get the idea. We actually bought that frame, and the frame is no good. So we need to put it in a jig and change the frame out.
I was reading on your website just before we go upstairs.
Yeah.
Yes, you make beautiful looking bikes, but they are actually also bikes designed to be ridden as well. So not just a beautiful looking bike that's hellishly uncomfortable.
No, that's what we do. I mean, these bikes are examples of that. So we leave the suspension on those. A lot of these bikes get chopped into hardtails, which looks great. But for longer rides, hardtails are a bit hard on the body, especially in pothole country #1. Doggos. So this is our space upstairs.
This leads in perfectly to how I started the video. Biltwell People's Champ 2024. Prestigious, really difficult to get into that shortlist of final 6 builders, the only builder from the UK. Walk us through how important this event is, or this competition is, and what we're looking at right here.
Yeah, so it's a competition in the US for builders that don't have a big name just yet. You put your name in the hat, and then you have to build a bike. There is a selection procedure that has happened where people get to vote, and we were in the last 6. And now the bike is getting shipped to California, and we have to, on the 21st of June, ride 50 miles, and then the public gets to vote, and hopefully, as the only British shop, we bring home the money. The vote starts on the 19th of June, so it's 2 days before the actual final day. So people have about 3 days in which they can vote. This bike is a full ground-up build, so the frame is a fully stainless steel polished frame. A lot of people think it's chrome. It's not, it's stainless steel. We got these stainless steel castings from a friend in the US, and we built the whole thing on our jig, including the swing arm. Then with regards to the engine, it's a pan shovel. So we've got a shovel head in the back, a pan head in the front, with a dyno, a 6-4 transmission, our kind of proprietary 2-in-1 exhaust, also stainless steel. And then just, you know, handlebars, bent in-house, grips. Just about 95% of this bike was done by us or by very good friends near to us.
Is this probably one of the best examples showcasing the work that you can do?
Yeah, I think if you want to push the envelope, this comes close to doing that. Yeah, because I mean, even the spindles and the nuts on it are made out of stainless, either by us or by our friends. So yeah, this is about as close as you come to a full custom. And the bike that is now in the Biltwell People's Champ finals looks very identical to this. It has a different gas tank, different wheels, but the whole look of the bike is extremely similar.
So there's a lot riding on the sister of this bike, which is right now
Correct.
over in Southern California.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So that, people, if you're interested in voting, is incredibly similar to the bike that is imminently to be going under the scrutiny of the public vote.
Yes.
Joe, thank you so much for your time.
More than welcome.
Amazing place, and I'll put all of the details for this really big competition that's coming up. This is a big deal. So all the details written, description below.
Yeah.
Joe, the best of luck.
Thank you.
Thank you so much everyone for watching. I hope you enjoyed this garage tour, and thank you to Lobo Cycles for having me.